Sacramento Station for a trip along the Sacramento River. I'm Dennis, your narrator, and along with our train crew, we'd like to welcome you on board. The Sacramento Southern Railroad was founded in 1909 and served as a subsidiary of the Southern Pacific Railroad Company. It was along these tracks at Front and K Streets that the western portion of the Transcontinental Railroad started. In 1984, the California State Railroad Museum re-established Sacramento Southern to provide an excursion service for our visitors. The people that helped you on board the train today are your car attendants. They're here to look out for your safety and to answer your questions. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow their instructions. Your car attendants will now introduce themselves and point out safety requirements specific to the car that you're riding in. Well, we'll soon be crossing over Interstate 5 to an area that was once the town of Sutterville. We've reached the end of the line in an area known as Sutterville. Sutterville was the first settlement established in the Sacramento area by John Sutter in 1844. It was created as an extension to Sutter's Fort to handle a large influx of immigrants. The town was located near the present-day William Lane Park and the Sacramento Zoo. When the Sacramento expanded in the 1860s along the Embarcadero, Sutterville here began falling into decline. passing through Bath Station. Why was it called Bath Station? Well, because it was on this site that the Riverside Baths stood for almost 50 years between 1909 and 1953. Originally called the Riverside Baths, it was later renamed the Land Park Plunge or Riverside Plunge. When it was constructed, it was the only swimming pool bath complex within 50 miles of Sacramento, and it was a very popular destination for Sacramentoans. The owner stated that it was located on Sacramento's only artesian well, going down over 2,500 feet deep. The natural temperature of the water was 82 degrees, and the pool was advertised as being emptied and cleaned every night. The baths were originally enclosed by a two-story wooden structure, but due to a high level of deterioration, that structure was demolished in 1936. The pool remained, and it was upgraded in 1937. It was acclaimed as the most modern swimming resort in California. No longer enclosed, it became an open-air swimming pool. The baths were located directly across from us at what was then the end of the Riverside Avenue streetcar line. Some California history for you. The first California Constitutional Convention and state elections were held in 1849. The convention decreed that San Jose would be the new state's capital. After 1850, when California statehood was ratified, the legislature continued to meet in San Jose until moving to Vallejo in 1852, to Benicia in 1853, and finally to Sacramento in 1854. It was during the Second California Constitutional Convention in 1879 that Sacramento was named as the new permanent state capital. Most of the personnel operating our train today are volunteers at the California State Railroad Museum, which is part of the California Park system. Besides staffing our trains, volunteers also maintain our tracks. They service our signals, do heavy maintenance on our railroad equipment, and they keep the trees and brush from fouling our tracks. The Sacramento Southern Railroad is a federally regulated railroad, and all of our volunteer crew members undergo extensive yearly training for their positions, and they're subject to the same laws and Federal Railroad Administration regulations that govern all railroad employees. So if you're having a good time today, please give all our volunteers a round of applause. In 1800, 31 years after the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, the Southern Pacific had become the dominant railroad in California and the main means of transportation within the state. The line that we're riding on today was a subsidiary of Southern Pacific, and it was called the Sacramento Southern Railroad Walnut Grove Branch. Service began in 1909, ran south for 14 miles as far as the town of Freeport. When completed in 1929, the line continued 33 miles to the town of Ileton in the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta. It carried mostly fruit and vegetable products from Delta area farms and canneries. That line was in service to Ileton until a 1972 levee break washed out part of the town and the tracks. It continued service to Hood Junction until 1978, when the line was finally suspended by the Southern Pacific Company. We're now passing through Miller Park. Located at the west end of Broadway, Miller Park is a beautiful shady retreat on the Sacramento River. Covering almost 57 developed acres, amenities include picnic areas, river access, boat trailer parking, a boat ramp, and a dock. Miller Park is the city's only public marina. Built in 1952 and then renovated in 2008, it features 475 covered boat slips. Being situated on the Sacramento River, the marina is less affected by drought than many lakes in the area. The Sacramento River, including the Miller Park area, is recognized as a significant riparian habitat, supporting diverse ecosystems including sand and gravel bars for salmon spawning. The river also supports over 140 species of birds and 20 mammal species, such as river otters, muskrats, and beavers. The Sacramento River, which we've been following on our trip, is a tidal river, and it's the longest river in California. Rising in the Klamath Mountains of Northern California, the river flows south for 445 miles before reaching the Sacramento-San Joaquin River Delta in San Francisco Bay. The river's been visited by whales who ventured up from San Francisco Bay. In 1985, a humpback whale, nicknamed Humphrey, was seen nearly 70 miles from San Francisco's Golden Gate, south of here in Rio Vista. Then, in May of 2007, there were 2 humpback whales spotted in the Deepwater Channel near the port of West Sacramento. At the time, their journey of almost 100 miles was thought to be the longest freshwater incursion by humpback whales. Occasionally, especially during the salmon migration, sea lions can be spotted in the river and resting on open docks. In the mid-1860s, railroading became the main industry in Sacramento, supporting about a third of all the workers in the area. The huge Southern Pacific Railroad complex at the north end of the city provided skilled positions for thousands of workers. During World War II, as many as 7,000 workers were employed there. In addition to the jobs they traditionally held in the pattern and upholstery shops, women saw increased opportunities for work at the yards, filling many jobs that were formerly held by men who had been called into military service. The Sacramento Southern Railroad runs historic railroading equipment, like our 1920s area passenger cars, and of course many of our locomotives are from the 1940s and 1950s. At the time this equipment was built, railroad safety was much different and did not reflect the safety practices of today. Some changes had to be made to allow us to safely carry our riders and still meet current safety regulations. The dedication and hard work of our volunteers has enabled us to reach that goal of safely giving our riders the experience of what it was like to ride by rail in bygone times. We hope you're enjoying your ride today. Sacramento was once the bustling commercial area of the city and the gateway to the gold country. serving the needs of miners in the gold country and a swelling immigrant population that was flocking to California in search of a new, better life. In the late 1840s through the 1950s, ocean-going ships and steam-powered paddle wheelers like the Delta King made their way between San Francisco and Sacramento, carrying both freight and passengers. The original plot for the city of Sacramento was laid out and surveyed by Captain William H. Runner and Lieutenant William Tecumseh Sherman of the Army Corps of Engineers. After the flood of 1862, it became apparent that the city was prone to yearly flooding, and the main commercial area of Sacramento was actually raised 13 feet. On January 10th in 1862, due to flooding, newly elected Governor Leland Stanford had to travel to his inauguration at the Capitol in a rowboat. Going down to cross Capitol Mall, when we do cross, look out the side of the train opposite the river, and at the far end of the mall you'll have a great view of the California State Capitol building. Then on the left you'll see the Tower Bridge, built in 1935. When the Tower Bridge first opened in 1935, it was silver. That industrial look changed in 1976 when it was painted a yellow-orange color. The River City Limited is now arriving back at Old Sacramento Station. Please look around, make sure you have all your belongings. When the train comes to a stop, it will take a few moments to be on spot and lock our brakes. So once that's all completed, your car attendant will give you the signal to disembark the train. On behalf of the California State Railroad Museum and your all-volunteer crew, it's been our sincere pleasure to serve you today. Thanks for riding on the Sacramento Southern Railroad. Enjoy the rest of your day here in Old Sacramento, and please join us again soon.